Welcome to the free Super Tips Premier League Tipping Challenge. And we've got back with us again this week, Mark Langdon, for the third week.
I'm hanging my head in shame, Dean, after last week.
I think we did beat you last week.
You absolutely battered me, so I need to come back strong.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure it'll be a close-fought game. So 5 matches we're going to cover, the 5 big games over the weekend. And we're going to start with Friday night football, Brighton versus West Ham. Now, Brighton, for all their endeavour, look like they're going to be struggling this season. I think with 3 Super Tips, we've got them as a relegation candidate for sure. I think it's a sign of how bad Man United are that that's the only team Brighton have actually
sure.
beat. West Ham certainly turned the corner. You know, their last 3 games against Everton, Chelsea and Man United, they picked up 7 points out of 9. So they're obviously turned the corner now. Pellegrini's got them sorted out. Now, the key stat here for us is that Brighton's 3 home games, there's been 3 goals or more. West Ham's 3 away games, there's been 3 goals or more. So we're seeing goals in this game. We're going for over 2.5 as our main selection. Anyone out there looking for something a bit more speculative, we'd go for 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 2-1 West Ham would be my correct score tip. My best bet, I think, in this game is West Ham, draw, no bet. So you get your money back if the game ends in a draw. Brighton last season were this team that really relied on a very solid defence, but in all but one of their games this season, they've conceded at least 2 goals. And I think that's a big concern for me going forward because they don't actually score that many. I mean, Glenn Murray's had a real sort of renaissance in his career, but I can't see him sort of delivering the goods for another whole season. So I think that they could be in trouble too. West Ham look a lot more solid at the back. Diop has come in, very aggressive centre-half. They've got Arnautovic up front, flanked by Anderson and Yarmolenko. I think they've got the more match winners in their team. Wouldn't be surprised if it finished in a draw, but I think there's more chance of West Ham winning as outsiders. The draw, no bet option for me.
On to Saturday tea time, and we've got Manchester United versus Newcastle. Now, as you can tell from my South London accent, I'm a long-time Manchester United fan and been suffering for the last few years, and it's getting worse every week. I think the only silver lining for us United fans is we're playing a team this week who's probably in as much turmoil as we are.
Sure.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, when Newcastle went to Manchester City, we were convinced Newcastle would grab a goal. Okay, and we're convinced they'll do the same here because United's defence is a little bit all over the place.
Sure.
So our main selection is both teams to score. Again, if someone wants something at a bigger price, we'd go for Man United 2-1.
Well, the 2-1's an interesting one because that's the score that Newcastle lost to against Chelsea, against Arsenal, against Manchester City and against Tottenham. But I'm going to take a slightly different angle, but using that as my basis for my bet, and it's Manchester United to win by exactly 1 goal. I can see against Valencia, we saw a team that was defensively okay, I think, in terms of United, but there was a nervousness around not only the team but also in the stands as well. I think Jose Mourinho's gone back to basics since that West Ham horror show. He's just looking to keep it tight and hope to nick one. He'll take a 1-0 now all day long. So I wouldn't be backing United at really short odds because I don't think they're aggressive enough in the final third. But I think they can just about nick it against a poor Newcastle. So Manchester United to win by exactly 1 goal.
Sunday midday, we've got Fulham versus Arsenal. Now, Fulham, all 4 of their defeats, they've lost by more than 1 goal this season, and they've conceded the most jointly, admittedly, in the Premier League so far. Arsenal, they're definitely starting to build momentum now under Unai Emery. They look very good going forward. We like that Lacazette-Aubameyang partnership that's building up front. So for us, we're convinced Arsenal will win, and we're actually going to go for Arsenal -1 in the handicap.
Okay, well, hopefully Arsenal will get their goals in the second half because my bet here is the second half to produce the most goals, around about even money, Mark. I just think the fact that it's a noon kickoff on Sunday at a very sleepy Craven Cottage, this might be a game that takes a little while to get going. And I think we've seen in Arsenal when they've won their matches against West Ham, they got a couple of goals late on in clusters. Against Everton, it was in clusters as well. And Fulham have got attacking threat in them, and I'm sure they'll keep going even if they do get behind. But like I said, I think the early kick-off, the fact that Arsenal have played away in Karabag on the Thursday in the Europa League, this could be a slow starter. So if you wanted a bigger price, maybe draw half-time, Arsenal full-time, but I'm going to play it a bit safer, second half to produce the most goals.
Okay. Sunday 2:15 sees Southampton taking on Chelsea. Now Chelsea, they seem a happy bunch again now under Maurizio Sarri. Hazard playing out of his skin. I was at the Chelsea-Liverpool game the other week. They're very impressive all round. So we're convinced Chelsea win this game. What we would say is that we think Southampton are probably in a bit of a false position at the moment. Their last 2 games, they've been away to Wolves and Liverpool, decent sides. You know, it's obviously return with no points from those. But we think they'll climb up a bit gradually. For us, the main thing here is we want them to score. Can we see them scoring? Yes, they've got your Danny Ings, you've got your Austin off the bench, Redmond. So we're basing our bet around them pinching a goal. But we're convinced Chelsea win. So it's a Chelsea win, but over 2.5 goals as well.
The one bet I like here is for Chelsea to kick on in the second half. I think Southampton, I agree, I think they are in a slightly false position. They may be able to hold out for 45 minutes before that class and quality of Chelsea tells through Hazard, or even off the bench. They've got so many people that can come on. You know, if it's Pedro or William, one of them won't start. Morata or Giroud. You know, these are options that I think can change the game in the latter stages. Again, they played Thursday night football in the Europa League, so maybe it will just take a little while for them to get going. And I think we saw, could be a similar game to the Newcastle one, where Chelsea have all the possession and it takes them just a while to break down Newcastle, and then, you know, hopefully Southampton on Sunday against West Ham. It was a similar style of play. They just couldn't get the goal, really, and I can just see exactly the same thing happening. Chelsea dominating the ball, Southampton looking to protect what they've got, and eventually that class telling. So draw half time, Chelsea full time on the double result market.
OK, and we finish with a real Super Sunday clash between Liverpool and Manchester City. Now, on paper, there's nothing to separate these two sides, and they look like they're going to fight out the title race. But yet, when the two meet, Liverpool just definitely hold the upper hand over City.
For sure.
Now, Man City have only won one of the last 11 meetings between these two sides. And we can't forget as well last year's 2 Champions League matches where Liverpool, you know, took them apart. So for us, we've got to go with Liverpool. We're going to be a little bit more careful, and we're going to go Liverpool in the draw no bet market. So that's our main selection. Anyone wanting a bit more speculative, go for 2-1.
I like Liverpool drawing no bet. I'm going to change it because I think it's best that we don't have the same one. But I can endorse the Liverpool draw no bet. But I'm going to go for a bit more value then. I'm going to go for the draw in the game, actually. I think if there is to be a winner, I like Liverpool. But, I mean, I think the draw is a big price. In this game, I think because the goal expectancy is so high, the draw price is sort of drifted. But I think 2 massive teams that know that it's early in the season, but it's still a huge game for both of them going into the international break. I think the fear of losing, even for these 2 great managers and the 2 great teams, could actually kind of sort of be bigger than trying to win the game. I think that don't lose this game, and if it's 1-1, say, with 15 minutes to go, I'm not sure that either team will risk that sort of trying to win it and fear of getting done on the counter-attack. Liverpool are excellent at home. They've beaten Man City in their last 6 meetings at Anfield. Sergio Aguero never scored at Anfield. So I think there's a couple of stats there that sort of do lead me towards Liverpool. They've had a lot of hard games recently, and they didn't play particularly well away to Napoli in that Champions League defeat. They've had 24 hours less to prepare for the game. So maybe that can just even it out. These are 2 great teams. I can't separate them.
Hope you've enjoyed this week's Premier League tipping challenge. Massive thank you to Mark for turning up and taking us on yet again.
Thank you.
And all that's left for me to say is enjoy your Premier League weekend.